Hey, I'm Eric Rokeach, and I'm here with Rick Casales, and we're here to talk about Muscle Imbalances Revealed 2.0. I'm really curious to find out more about this product, why it's so awesome, and who it's for. All right, so Rick, I want you to just start off basically for me. I want you to kind of just tell me what is Muscle Imbalances Revealed 2.0.
What it is uh, a solution for fitness professionals. So I'm a fitness educator in Vancouver, and what I try to do is bring in leaders from around the world to kind of teach other fitness professionals in Vancouver. So I was looking for a way of, the issue that people were having was they couldn't come out to Vancouver to see some of these leaders in the industry. So I was looking for a way that I could deliver, amazing information to people around the world. And hence, Muscle Imbalances Revealed kind of evolved from that. So, I could have put the product together and just talked about the product, about everything, and have everything involve me. But what I wanted to do was, bring my perspective, but then also look for other leaders in the fitness industry that can bring their expertise to, the product. And hence, I searched out 5 other people, some big names, some no names, but really quality people with amazing information. And we end up creating Muscle Imbalances Revealed 2.0, where we kind of address, we kind of look at muscle imbalances when it relates to inhibiting performance, leading to injuries, preventing injuries, and leading to fitness plateaus. So that's what Muscle Imbalances Revealed is.
All right, and why are muscle imbalances so important to consider?
A lot of times, if we kind of look at people's, fitness education background, they're really kind of focused in on the fit principles, and they're really focused on technique. And a lot of times, what isn't really revealed is the issues of muscle imbalances. So what that ends up being is the push-pull on the joints, which end up inhibiting, how efficient the body ends up moving. It ends up moving the body out of alignment, and that poor alignment, ends up leading to injuries or slows down the recovery process. And if that alignment isn't ideal, it ends up affecting performance and affecting fitness plateaus. So that's why it ends up playing a role. And addressing muscle imbalances kind of covers the whole fitness spectrum. If you work with post-rehab clients, if you work with fat loss clients, or if you end up working with performance clients, it's all an issue with all of them. And a lot of times these principles aren't taught in certifications, or it's not covered enough detail at conferences, and hence the 5 of us or 6 of us put Muscle Imbalances Revealed together, bringing all of our own perspectives. So bringing in personal trainers' perspective, post-rehab specialists' perspective, strength coach, physical therapist perspective, corrective exercise specialist perspective, and a licensed massage therapist perspective. 2 things. So it really ends up being quite encompassing, and there's great information for everyone. If you're exercise enthusiast all the way to a healthcare professional.
Now, I hear, a lot of people I've talked to, they always talk about, muscle imbalances, and stretching is a great thing for it, but why is it that stretching is not enough to address the muscle imbalances?
I find that stretching ends up just being a Band-Aid, and the tightness ends up being, it's almost like a symptom for something going on within the body. And the stretching just ends up being that quick Band-Aid and ends up not addressing the problem. And what you end up having to do is end up addressing the problem. And that's what Muscle Imbalances Revealed is it kind of shows you how to address those problems so that they're not an issue in the future.
So what are some examples of muscle imbalances being an issue?
I find, let's say when it comes to personal training in, person, clients will end up reporting knee pain when they do various leg exercises. And a lot of times when they end up getting knee pain, what trainers will end up doing is just stop doing exercise. And that can end up being an issue because you end up taking away a really good quality exercise that they end up needing to do. A lot of times it can be technique, but a lot of times what I end up finding is it's muscle imbalances that's causing that knee pain. And addressing those muscle imbalances often can relieve that knee pain. Then they can end up doing the leg exercise properly. For example, a lunge, which is very valuable when it comes to building leg strength, building stability in the hip, building, tight and toned legs if that ends up being your goal. If we end up looking at the rehab client, post-rehab client, a lot of times when it comes to their injury, everything ends up tightening up around that injury in order to protect that injury. And what we need to do is end up addressing that tightness in order to help them fully recover from that process, from that injury. So muscle imbalance a lot of times ends up being the issue. And then if we look at the exercise enthusiast or the performance individual, a lot of times muscle imbalances will end up affecting how the joint ends up moving. So an example would end up being if we end up looking at the hip, if the hip ends up having poor movement or poor mobility, that ends up putting greater stress on the knee and is more likely to lead to a knee injury. Other examples, when it comes to the performance side, if they end up having poor movement in the hips, it could end up leading to a low back injury. Then they have to take a break from their performance training, which can end up affecting, their long-term results, or will end up putting them back a few weeks when it comes to their training for preseason work. So it ends up affecting, all the common groups that the fitness professional ends up seeing.
Okay, you mentioned, it wasn't just yourself. You brought in some really awesome people to be a part of this project. I want to know who else is involved.
And that brings up a real good point. Like I said, I could have done it all, but I really wanted to go out there and find other amazing fitness professionals that can bring in their specialty. So, Mike Robertson is an individual that's been brought in. He's a quite well-known name in the strength conditioning world. And he did a video presentation when it comes to the hips and pelvis. So he ended up talking about, the importance of the hips and pelvis and how it can affect the upper body, how it can affect the lower body when it comes to preventing injuries, overcoming injuries, and when it relates to performance. The other person was Bill Hartman. Mm-hmm. So he's also he's a physical therapist, but also a strength coach. He's been kind of labeled, one of the smartest guys in the fitness industry. So it's very rare to have Bill present. But I was able to get him to present and share some of his amazing information when it comes to mobility. So he really has a specialty in mobility and really was the first person to bring a lot of the mobility stuff to the fitness industry. So he talks about mobility throughout the body with a bit more of a focus in the lower body, and has some great information on why it's important, what exercises to do, common mistakes, common things that end up coming up in the assessment, and goes through some amazing assessment side of things. Then there's Kevin Yates, who ends up going through, who's a personal trainer out of California, and he goes through some great examples when it comes to the assessment side of things, assessing the lower body and highlighting those muscle imbalances in the lower body. And then he goes through, in this second video presentation, some of the exercises that he uses with his personal training clients who are fat loss or post-rehab or fitness in order to address their muscle imbalances. Another person is Dean Somerset, and Dean is... he ends up doing a fair bit of post-rehab work in Edmonton, Alberta. So he's in Canada, and I end up finding him because I knew he was kind of an under-the-radar fitness educator. I had met him at a conference, and he had some amazing information. And so I knew I needed to get him on board, and he brought some great stuff when it comes to like the fascial lines and the myofascial lines. and really not just talking about the lines, but really bringing in the exercise side of things and talking about the exercises when it relates to the myofascial lines, which has gotten a lot of great feedback. A lot of people have heard some new stuff from that presentation. A lot of times just the talk is the fascial lines, and he really integrates it with the exercise side of things, which was really cool. And then the last, oh, well, I'm the last one, but the second to last one is Eric Beard.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a licensed massage therapist and a corrective exercise specialist. And he did a presentation when it related to the shoulder and did an action-packed, jam-packed information when it comes to the shoulder, when it relates to assessment, common things to look at when it relates to the assessment of the shoulder, and a great exercise program when it relates to the shoulder. And then the last person is myself. I kind of focus on the injury side of things, designing exercise programs for injuries, and I focused on the knee. So it's really cool. We end up having our own perspective, but we end up kind of overlapping and having different perspectives because of the clients that we focus in on, and also our educational background. So I mean, I was blown away when it was all put together, and the feedback I've gotten has been incredible.
Okay, so you basically have all these guys. I'm taking that this is broken up into different parts, different components type of thing. How many different parts are there?
I think we're at 9. So we end up having the hip and the pelvis. We end up having mobility. We end up having the knee. We end up having lower body assessment, exercises for the lower body. We end up having shoulder, fascia. That was our version 1 of the program. Then we got amazing feedback from people, and we got feedback from the fitness professionals, the strength coaches, the healthcare professionals like physical therapists, doctors, chiropractors, and exercise enthusiasts that purchased Muscle Imbalances Revealed. And we kind of got their feedback on what was missing and ended up adding a whole bunch of components when it comes to 2.0. So we added people were looking for exercises, so I added some more exercises when it comes to the lower body. Dean did another presentation when it comes to fascia, and that was really good, especially in the back. And then my friend John Eric Komodo ended up doing an ebook for us when it comes to barefoot running, because there's been a lot of talk about barefoot running. And that's ended up being put in the 2.0 version. And it's kind of all included when you get Muscle Imbalances Revealed.
And so we're talking, you've got tons of amazing information. We're talking hours of just like top quality information that everybody's going to get.
I mean, how I ended up, one of my visions putting this together was, like I was saying, people were having a difficult time. Let's say they're in Australia and they don't want to fly into Vancouver and see one of the international presenters that I bring in. But they can go online and see Muscle Imbalances Revealed, which is almost like an online conference. If you look at conferences and courses these days, they've ended up becoming ridiculous in price. And with Muscle Imbalances Revealed, it's almost like an online course. You get the input of 6 experts in their areas sharing their tips and tricks when it comes to what they do, focusing in on muscle imbalances. And I mean, it's an insane value. I mean, if you went and saw these people, you're paying hundreds of dollars, and you would never see all these guys at one conference.
Okay. No, I mean, it's not a conference. You said it's online. So what is the exact format?
Online.
Like, how is this all put together? Is it a membership? How is it worked?
Oh, I mean, you end up purchasing Muscle Imbalances Revealed. You end up getting your own password and user ID to the area. You have unlimited access. It's never going to go down. You can watch all this stuff at one time, or you can visit it once a week. We're adding new stuff to it. There is no monthly fee. You get it all. And how it is you log in. All the videos are there. You can watch them right there on the computer. If you don't want to watch them on your computer, what you can end up doing is downloading the video in your whatever format you want to watch on your PC, watch on your Mac, watch on your iPod, watch on your iPad. You can, if you're an audio person, you can download the audio and listen to that instead in your car. And then also you can download the handouts from each of the presentations and take notes while you're going through the presentations. And so it's always there. And if you want, you can also end up getting continuing education credits or continuing education units. So you can watch the presentations, complete the online exam while you're watching the presentations, email them off to me. I'll mark the exam. And if you get over 80%, you earn a whole bunch of continuing education credits. Roughly six contact hours, and how that ends up translating, it varies depending on the association. And if you want, you can also order the DVDs. I end up sending off the DVDs to your house, so you can get it purely online. If you'd like the DVDs, you can get the DVDs ordered along with continuing education credits. So that's how it ends up working. What I find is, people will end up kind of watching a presentation a week, and if you end up watching a presentation a week, that's like 2 months of learning that you end up getting, and then you can earn continuing education credits, which is awesome.
Now, it's not just one association that the credits count for, right? Like you have, the top ones, I'm figuring like NSCA, places like that, right, that they count for?
Oh yeah, we end up having the big ones. So NSCA, American Council on Exercise,
Mm-hmm.
NASM, National Academy of Sports Medicine, and then we end up having British Columbia Parks and Recreation Association, which is in Canada, Alberta Fitness Leaders
Mm-hmm.
Association, and that's another Canada one, BCAK, which is a Canada one, CanFit Pro, which is a Canada one, and there's a couple other Canada ones, but we ended up getting three big ones that, based on feedback from people, which end up being NSCA, ACE Fitness, and NASM, so that you can earn a whole bunch. And then the feedback I've gotten from people, let's say their association isn't listed, what you can end up doing is contacting your association, and you can end up petitioning. So you would you would complete the exams, send me the exam, I'd mark it, I'd send you the certificate, and people have petitioned. And what that means is you just send your association the email saying, I took this course, this is what's in the course,
Mm-hmm.
can this be put towards my membership? And no one's been denied. It's usually been yes. All of us that are part of the project are super qualified to talk about each of the areas that we talk about.
Okay, and that's the continuing education credit. That's one of the really cool things that makes us different from a lot of the other, fitness education products out there. You've touched on a lot of things, but kind of just reemphasize again what makes this education product that you have different from some of the other ones that are out there.
That the continuing education credits ends up being a huge thing. I know I found now with myself, I've got a family, I've got kids, I've got all these responsibilities. For me to take a weekend to go to a course or go to a conference, it's really tough to do that. I mean, I prefer to be spending time with my family. And while something like Muscle and Balance is revealed, I can end up getting my continuing education credits online. So like I said, some people end up watching one a week, and they can do that whenever they want, at work,
Mm-hmm.
at lunch at work, in the evening. They can get their education, and that ends up being a huge bonus. And then the other cool thing is, I mean, I think this has been purchased by like fitness professionals from like 26 different countries.
Wow.
So if you're in like Sri Lanka, or if you're in Thailand, or if you're in New Zealand, I mean, you can get access to this information, and it would be cost prohibitive for you to kind of fly to the US or fly to Canada and see all these guys talk about this great information. So that ends up being a huge, I mean,
Yeah.
I never realized how popular that would be, and how much of a big benefit that was to people, that they could take their continuing education credits online.
Mm-hmm. And plus the fact you have, yourself and then all these other great guides in there who are super knowledgeable about everything, and you're putting them all in one place. People don't have to
Yeah,
travel. That's really a cool idea. It's a good thing.
yeah, yeah.
All right, now the other thing I want to know, you said this isn't a membership program, okay? So it's an upfront investment. I'm just so everybody knows, what is the fee for this?
Yeah, I mean, the investment ends up being, if you want fully digital, so it means you get online access. You can download the videos, you can download the audio, you can download the handouts. It ends up being $97 US. Now, if you end up and some people, and I created that because some people just want the information. That's all they care about. They want to get the information. Well, some people want the DVDs and they want the continuing education credits. So that ends up being $127 plus shipping and handling. $9 if you're in North America, so Canada, US. And then if you're outside of those areas, it ends up being $18 shipping. And so you end up getting everything in, the complete package, so all the digital access. And then in the premium package, what you end up getting is you also get the DVDs shipped out to you, and then you can earn continuing education credits. So that's what it is. There's no reoccurring, there's no monthly billing. It's just one flat fee. You end up getting all that stuff, and you end up having 1 year to complete the continuing education credits and exam.
Okay, now the other important thing is, okay, what if someone has questions, they get the product in the mail, customer service, follow-up, how is that handled and how good is it?
I take customer service very seriously. You'll hear back from us within one business day, 24 hours. And that's it. I take it really serious. I get back to people really fast. If there are any issues, I end up taking care of it. So I take it very seriously. You'll hear back from me.
Mm-hmm.
If you email me, and if you have an issue with Muscle Imbalances Revealed, I'll take care of it fast. I take it very seriously.
Okay, now this is the 2.0 version. You've added to it. What's next?
We've had I have had outstanding feedback from this, and people have asked for more. They want more. This Muscle Imbalances Revealed focused on the lower body. Mm-hmm. So right now, I'm looking at doing one that focuses in on the upper body. I'm looking at bringing a new crew on to focus in on the upper body. Taking all the feedback I got from the lower body one, all the things that people liked, and doing almost like a new and improved upper body. So that's in the works, and people will probably hear about it in the next couple month or two. So probably by September, I'll have kind of things finalized when it comes to Muscle Imbalances Revealed, when it comes to the upper body. Mm-hmm. And I'll be bringing on who I'm talking to. I know people are going to be really excited about if they bring their information on, because it's going to be pretty awesome.
Okay, now for this other updated version to this, if someone, let's say they purchase the 2.0 version right now, is the other things that you're going to add on, is that going to be included? Is there another cost to that, or are people who have access to it now going to get that for free?
Yeah, it'll end up being two separate things. So there'll be Muscle Imbalances Revealed Lower Body, which is this right now, mm-hmm. and then the Muscle Imbalances Revealed Upper Body will be a complete separate thing. So it'd be kind of much more in depth when it comes to the upper body, and based upon the feedback that I've got from the lower body, we'll put all the things that people really like in the upper body one, and it would be well worth people's money to get the upper body one, and those people that.
Okay. Anything else that's really important that we think that you should cover with this that we haven't already gone over?
Check out Muscle Imbalances Revealed. I stand behind the product. All the guys that are part of it stand behind the product. If you don't like it, return it and I'll give your money fully back. I stand behind it. And look out for Muscle Imbalances Revealed Upper Body. You're going to be impressed at who's going to be involved and the stuff that we're going to have within it. It's going to be amazing. Not saying the lower body, there's anything wrong with it, because the lower body is outstanding on its own. But people wanted more and wanted to learn more about the upper body, because this first one focused on the lower body. So we're going to give it to people.
Hey, Rick, this was awesome. Thanks very much for sharing all this great info.
I thank you very much for taking the time to interview me.
Okay, thank you.